fortune in driving the decision of what one does with an ad. And what we've realized is that in the technology marketplace in particular, marketers are looking much more beyond what I would call the table stakes of behavioral and contextual. That's the search for the almighty click. But what they really want is something way beyond the click. What they want to do on a very regular basis is influence their potential prospects and customers to purchase their product or be loyal to their product. So we're really involved in doing a lot of thinking about influence. Influence is the power to affect other people's thoughts, perceptions, or behaviors. So why do marketers need influence? Because they want to drive awareness, consideration, and purchase intent. But marketers cannot create influence by themselves, and that's a conundrum. Influence exists between people and those they trust. And in marketing, using marketing and influence marketing as a platform, this becomes something that we need to solve for. Who are the influencers? Well, as we're starting to realize, the world of disruptive advertising to perhaps influence a potential buyer is failing us, and failing us badly. Arguably now, we can see that influencers are usually independent in their nature. They're blogs and they're bloggers. They're people we follow through social media. Or they're friends and people we know that because of their expertise in a certain subject, we deem them to be influential. How is influence created? We have a particular point of view on that. We believe that influence is created by content, and that publishers, users, and marketers are all creating content. And that content, which is valuable, which is deemed influential, creates engagement. And that engagement, through any kind of social media platform, for all the sharing, and even email, bookmarking, referrals, all of that is amplifying that message. Not all messages, but those that are deemed influential. And because of that, there's a dynamic ecosystem where engaging content is driving influence. And so the question becomes, and we've been doing a lot of thinking about this, is how can you really determine who is influential, what is influential? In a world where we're all living with information anxiety, there's tremendously more content out there. So the content that matters becomes really important, and finding that content becomes critical. At NetShelter, we have a program and a platform that measures influence. And we think that readers vote with their mouse. And then it's after a click on an ad or an article that really the important stuff has. The click is table stakes now. It's what happens. Does someone think that this is important enough to share with someone else? Does someone say, wow, this article about this LG smartphone is pretty cool, and I'm going to send it to somebody else? And that becomes the more important metric. So we've built a platform that measures post-click engagement through all kinds of different social media monitoring tools. And we apply a weight and an algorithm, because a click is really the first thing that might be important. But after that, maybe it's collect, then it's curate, then it's comment, then it's created. Somebody actually creates a unique piece of content based on being inspired by an influential article. And there's different weights appropriated to each of those. So each piece of content then gets an engagement score. And we look throughout our network of over 300 bloggers, every brand, site, and author and article, and we measure each for engagement. So we can actually now check brands, and on any given day, at any given time, understand, well, what is their influence ranking? How many engagement points do they have? This happens to be a category of laptops. We do it by category, we do it by brand. And we also track that over time, because that's when you really get to see, as a brand steward, how much the influential community is speaking about your brand in a positive or negative sentiment, and how those articles are being propagated throughout the internet. And that is true influence. So, pictures speak louder than words. I'm going to let this speak for what we do.
NetShelter Technology Media is an exclusive collection of 1,000 of today's most influential technology bloggers, with specialists in every category, from IT to TV, and cell phones to servers. These opinion leaders are the heart of the NetShelter network.
I've always been really passionate about technology.
We live, eat, and breathe. We're all Android all the time.
We have experts in smartphones on every platform. King of the niche.
We are actually communicating with the manufacturers as well.
We can get devices now before they're launched. We know what we're talking about. We don't do it for the money. We do it because we love it.
NetShelter unites all these passionate, authoritative experts into one powerful network of technology influencers.
It's the quality of the content. And so we thoroughly review the apps.
And we actually go in depth. We look at the product, we use it for a couple of weeks, we write about it.
Users come to us because they want that sort of analysis or that sort of perspective.
And they're going to get information that they're not going to find anywhere else.
Technology brands need to reach and engage these technology influencers. Why? Because their readers are the peer influencers, who affect up to 90% of all technology purchases in the US.
Well, we've got the enthusiasts, and then it sort of spiderwebs out from there.
And the pictures and the ads are great, but those are the teasers. But the purchase is being made based on the influencers online, what they're telling about the product.
So we're influencers, but the people who read our site are influencers and influence their friends.
Have somebody, for example, that reads your site, that loves your content, they spread it to their mom, they love the content, they spread it to different consumers, they love the content.
The word is going out from these people into their families and friends, getting passed on. These are very important people.
NetShelter offers marketers the most effective reach for their marketing dollars, which is why NetShelter's been #1 in the technology category in both reach and engagement since 2008. In fact, NetShelter's not only #1 in the technology category, it's now the largest technology media company in the world. NetShelter's proprietary influencer-powered data platform feeds the most engaging and effective technology content into interactive ad units proven to drive consumer engagement. These influencer-powered programs are performing at click-through rates more than 200% above the industry average.
Most analytics platforms are just focused on tracking the initial click. Using our engagement analytics platform, we can actually measure all the engagement that happens inside the ad, and we can actually track downstream engagement on the social network as people are sharing content.
The result? Highly engaged consumers spending quality time with your brand. If you aren't already engaging with NetShelter's technology and peer influencers to build your brand, don't you think you should be?
So that, in a nutshell, is where we're focusing our energies. We have just started these programs in Q4, which we call influencer-powered programs. These ad-driven programs, compared with the display that's given to us by creatives on behalf of these brands, is outperforming them by a factor of 4x to 8x. So the display is still performing very, very well, and that's a basis of optimizing for context, for place, for audience. But beyond that, by taking the influential articles and optimizing in ads that we build for people, not only the marketers' assets, but then these articles, and optimizing for those articles on a daily basis, we've been able to drive tremendous consideration for brands. So thank you very much.